You could work 40 hours a week for the next 40 years and still never become a millionaire. Not because you're lazy, not because you're bad with money, but because most people are playing a financial game they were never actually taught the rules to. Have you ever noticed something strange? Some people earn a modest income their entire life and quietly retire with a seven-figure net worth. And some people earn a huge income, live in a beautiful house, drive a beautiful car, and are one missed paycheck away from panic. That doesn't make sense on the surface. So what's actually going on? There's a hidden mechanism separating these two outcomes. It's not intelligence, it's not luck, and it's definitely not just working hard. It's something quieter than that. Something almost nobody points out directly. And once you see it, you can't unsee it in your own life. Stay with me, because if you leave this video early, you'll miss the exact moment where this starts to click the invisible dividing line between people who slowly build wealth and people who stay stuck no matter how much they earn. By the end of this, you won't have a guarantee of becoming rich. Nobody can promise you that, but you will understand something most people go their entire life without understanding: the difference between earning money and building wealth. And that understanding alone changes how you see every dollar that passes through your hands. Think about your own life for a second. Have you ever gotten a raise and somehow still felt just as tight on money as before? Have you ever looked at your bank account after a good year and wondered where it all went? Have you ever assumed that becoming a millionaire must require some rare stroke of luck, some inheritance, some lottery ticket, some idea you'll never have? If any of that sounds familiar, I want you to hear this clearly. None of that means something is wrong with you. It might just mean you've been playing the version of the money game that most of the world plays without ever realizing there's another one. And here's the strange part: most people don't even notice they're playing it. It doesn't feel like a game with rules, it feels like just life. Pay the bills, cover the expenses, maybe save what's left, hope things work out eventually. That's not a flaw in anyone's character. It's simply the default setting nobody ever questioned. But defaults can be changed once you actually see them. And that's exactly what we're about to do. Before we go further, if this is the kind of thing you've never had explained to you clearly, that's exactly why this channel exists. We dig into the hidden financial principles most people were never taught in school, at home, or anywhere else. If that sounds useful, subscribing means you won't miss the next one. Now, let's get into it. Here's something most people never realize. Income and wealth are not the same thing. They feel related. They're taught as if they're related, but they behave completely differently. Income is what flows in, wealth is what stays. And here's where it gets interesting: a person can have enormous income and almost no wealth because everything that comes in also goes out. Historically, there have been well-documented cases of extremely high earners, professional athletes, entertainers, even executives who earned staggering sums over their careers and still ended up with little to show for it. Not because the money wasn't real, because none of it was ever converted into something that kept producing value after it was spent. Meanwhile, some of the most common profiles among self-made millionaires, according to long-term financial research, are ordinary earners, teachers, technicians, small business owners who never had a dramatic income but consistently kept more than they spent and let that difference grow for decades. At first, that sounds almost backwards. Shouldn't more income always lead to more wealth? Logically, it seems obvious. But here's where it gets interesting: income is only the input. What happens to that income after it arrives is a completely separate decision made over and over, month after month, for years. And that decision is where the real story is hiding. So if income isn't the deciding factor, what is? This is where the invisible rules start to show up. Wealth tends to be built on a few underlying principles: cash flow, asset ownership, and time. Cash flow is simply the gap between what comes in and what goes out. Asset ownership means directing a portion of that gap towards something that can generate value on its own historically. This has included things like real estate, ownership stakes in businesses, or long-term investment vehicles. Time is what allows small amounts placed into those assets to compound, meaning the growth itself starts generating more growth. None of this is a recommendation. It's simply how wealth accumulation has tended to work across long historical periods. But here's something most people miss completely: this isn't really about big decisions, it's about small, repeated ones. And that's where it gets uncomfortable, because the math is almost too simple to feel important. Let's use a purely hypothetical, illustrative example. Imagine setting aside $300 a month. If that $300 is spent every month on discretionary purchases, at the end of 30 years, its total impact is exactly what was spent: gone, consumed, enjoyed in the moment, but not compounding into anything further. Now, hypothetically, assume that same $300 a month was instead directed into a long-term investment vehicle assumed to earn something close to a historical average annual return of around 7%, purely for illustration. Over 30 years, the amount contributed would total around $108,000. But because of compounding growth building on growth, the ending value could be illustratively closer to $340,000, assuming that historical average held steady, which is never guaranteed. That gap isn't from earning more money, it's the exact same $300. The only difference is where it was directed and for how long it was left alone. And here's the part that tends to surprise people most. The majority of that growth doesn't happen early on. In the first several years, the difference between spending and investing that $300 barely feels noticeable. It's only in the later decades, once the earlier contributions have had time to compound on themselves, that the curve starts bending sharply upward. Which means the hardest part was never the math. The hardest part was staying patient through the years where nothing seemed to be happening. This is the part almost nobody explains clearly. The difference between people who build wealth and people who don't is rarely about a single big financial decision. It's about a repeated, almost boring decision made consistently over a very long period of time. But there's another layer to this, and it's arguably the more important one because none of this happens automatically. It happens through psychology. Here's something most people never realize about themselves. Humans are wired to prefer smaller rewards now over larger rewards later. Economists call this time preference. It's not a character flaw, it's built into how the brain evaluates value. But it means that every time you choose immediate comfort over delayed benefit, you're not making an irrational choice. You're making a completely human one. The people who build significant wealth aren't immune to that wiring. They've simply built systems and habits that work around it rather than fighting it moment by moment. There's also something quieter happening with identity. The things people buy are often less about the item itself and more about signaling who they believe they are or who they want to be seen as. That's not a flaw either, it's deeply human. But it explains why income increases so often get absorbed almost instantly. As earnings grow, spending tends to expand right alongside it, matching a new sense of what feels appropriate for someone at that income level. The gap between income and spending can stay exactly the same size, even as both numbers grow larger. There's one more piece of this psychology worth sitting with. Have you ever noticed how opportunities seem to appear more often for people who are already looking for them? It's not magic and it's not luck in the way most people imagine it. When someone has already trained themselves to think in terms of ownership and long-term value, a business idea, a side opportunity, or a chance to acquire something productive tends to stand out to them faster, simply because their attention has been pointed in that direction for years. Someone playing the other version of the money game might walk past that exact same opportunity and never register it as one at all, not because they're less capable, because their attention was trained on something else entirely. Which brings us to something that might be the most surprising insight in this entire video. Have you ever noticed that the wealthiest looking people are rarely the wealthiest people? Visible signs of money, expensive cars, oversized homes, luxury items are consumption. They cost money. They typically don't produce it. Meanwhile, actual wealth often looks almost invisible. It's sitting quietly in ownership stakes, in accounts that aren't spent down, in decisions nobody sees because there's nothing to show off. This is why wealth so often grows quietly in the background, completely disconnected from how someone appears on the outside. The image of wealth and the substance of wealth are frequently two completely different things, and confusing one for the other is one of the most common invisible traps in personal finance. So let's bring this all together. The biggest separator between people who slowly build wealth and people who stay financially stuck was never intelligence. It was never about who worked the hardest. And it was never purely about luck, even though luck plays some role in everyone's life. The real separator is understanding a different framework. One built around the gap between income and spending, the slow compounding of ownership over time, and the psychological patterns that quietly shape financial decisions every single day. And then consistently acting inside that framework in small, repeated, almost invisible ways for a very long time. Most people are never taught this, not because it's hidden on purpose, but because nobody ever sat them down and explained that money has two completely different games running underneath it at all times. Now that you've seen the invisible one, you get to decide which game you're actually playing going forward. Nothing about this requires a dramatic life change tomorrow. It doesn't require a windfall, a rare opportunity, or a completely different life than the one you have right now. It simply requires seeing the rules that were always running quietly in the background, whether you noticed them or not. Wealth was never really about chasing a number. It was always about understanding the quiet rules shaping every financial decision you've ever made. And everyone you're about to make next.